Could 3 minutes make a huge difference in an athlete's level of performance? That's exactly what these Stanford University professors are claiming, and they have some heavyweights to back their theory up. Known affectionately as the coffee pot, the RTX, Rapid Thermal Exchanger, is a low-tech device that draws blood into the hand, cools it for 3 minutes, then circulates it back to the organs. And that gradual cooling of the body's core is critical.
The buildup of temperature is a limiting factor for an athlete's ability to perform. What we do is pull the heat out, we reduce the buildup of internal heat, and it enables them to perform longer.
Meet Robert Weir, head coach of Stanford's track and field team. He's a 3-time Olympic athlete in discus, gold medalist in the Commonwealth Games, and a former pro football player. Robert had Dennis Grahn and Craig Heller test their cooling device on him. He was blown away.
I've noticed that the ability to do extended work, additional reps, additional sets with the device has been very effective as compared to when I didn't use it.
When you say you're hot, you're cold, it's really the temperature of your skin. So the athletes that use the device, they report they're refreshed or they're energized. They don't say, I'm cool. They say, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I can do more work. I can go farther.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get. That's a more accurate description of feeling. I don't really feel, because my muscles are still tight, but I just feel like I'm ready. I feel like I can go again, and that's the part that's important.
The principles behind the cooling device are simple. The hand is inserted inside a vacuum-sealed chamber surrounding a metal cone. Circulating water cools the hand, and that cooler blood is sent back to the core organs.
Robert has been exercising quite a bit, and it's hot out here. His body has accumulated quite a heat load, so his core temperature is elevated. What is happening is the blood which is flowing into the palm of his hand is being cooled by these radiator structures in the hand. That blood is going back to the core of his body and cooling from the inside out. Now, for someone who has been active, the blood flow is going preferentially to the muscles that have been exercising. So it's actually a differential cooling. You're cooling where the heat load has accumulated.
The discovery of these radiator structures in the blood vessels of the hands was the pair's eureka moment.
When this initial discovery was made, we were astounded. So that the discovery, I think, that's important is to a large extent muscle fatigue or exhaustion is due to the rise in temperature of the body. We don't know if it's the rise in temperature of the muscle that's critical or the rise in temperature of the nervous system, but fatigue to a large extent with heavy work is due to the rise in temperature. If you pull that heat out of the body, people are capable of much more work.
So why not just stick your hand in a bucket of ice?
If you stick your hand in cold water, what happens is those blood vessels shut down. It's what keeps you from losing excess heat. And what you're doing is you're impeding heat loss, and therefore your core temperature actually goes up.
Using an infrared camera, the hot spots on Robert's skin are visible. The lighter the area, the hotter the skin. As you can see, it's Robert's hands, or radiators, that seem to be generating a lot of heat. To test this concept further, Craig and Dennis had a hot room installed in their performance lab, where athletes like this one exercise to raise their core temperature. The cooling method is then used to see if their performance is affected. Last year at age 43, after training using the core control, Robert decided to test his conditioning. He entered the world's strongest man competition. He placed third. The next oldest competitor, 27.
In all honesty, this device, when you're training at your peak, this device allows you to continue to train to maintain that peak and sometimes help you find a new peak. And when you're an elite level, world-class athlete, every training device or training technique that can help you improve becomes significant. When you consider a race is won by hundredths of a second, or maybe even a thousandths, if this could give you the edge to make that 100th of a second or 1,000th second your advantage rather than the other opponents, then it's a worthwhile device.
Beyond improving an athlete's performance, the cooling method has more important and potentially life-saving applications.
Definitely, this is not just for elite athletes. Elite athletes are certainly a prime target for us to work on. But if you think of every August, every September, there are all sorts of high school athletic teams that are out there practicing in the heat, and every year there are young people suffering from heat illness. But then you can imagine industrial applications. There are lots of people that work in very hot conditions, roofers, road contractors, for example, miners. And then there are people who just simply live in very hot places. Like, you know, if you want to mow your lawn in August in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, unless you do it at night, you're going to have a problem overheating.
But wearing one of these when you're mowing your lawn just wouldn't be, well, very cool. Dennis and Craig are working on a glove version of the cooling device. They hope to have it on the market within a year.